I'm here with Stho Nkomo, a member of the Richardson Seventh-day Adventist Church who's really had some miraculous things happening in her life. Stho, tell us a little bit about what God has been doing in your life.
Okay, I attended the neighborhood church. It was the week of the 10 days prayer, and my prayer had been, Lord, surprise me in these 10 days. So I think it was the first weekend when we were in the middle of the 10 days of prayer when we had a neighborhood church at Richardson church, and so we were just a small group, and it was a chance to get to know each other more. So the preacher, one of the elders, said, after I finished preaching, God has impressed on me to give you 7 minutes to kind of interact and share testimonies. And so after the service, he said, okay, I just want you to get up and find somebody who you've never really spoken to, somebody you've never interacted with, and just go and share what God has done for you. So I was sitting next to this young adult. Her name is Karen, and I've just seen her at church, and it was a chance for me to share with her. But when we were about to start, she says to me, I don't think we can go together. That's a couple over there. We can't let them go together. So now we had to separate. I was kind of disappointed because I was ready with what I was going to share with her. But anyway, I ended up sharing with the wife, and we started sharing our testimonies, and she just started telling me that she's been coming to the Adventist church for the past almost 7 years, but she was not a member of the church. And I said to her, okay, so why have you not been a member? She's like, oh no, I haven't really made a decision to be baptized. And she says to me, okay, what about you? Were you born, raised in Adventist? Because she said she was a Baptist, and she had even lived that way. But anyway, I say to her, yes, was born and raised in Adventist. And then she says to me, okay, it must be easy for you to fit in the church and be part of the church. I said, well, okay, it is. And then I was struggling in my mind, what am I going to share with her? She's not a member of the church, and I'm not sure really what to share. But anyway, God just impressed whatever was appropriate to share. So I shared with her, and I'm going to share with you too my testimony. I had a very big disappointment end of the year in December. I had found this job, and it was wonderful. They loved me before they even saw me. They did an interview over the phone. They had all this laid out for me, but it was at the last minute, and the way it led, I felt like God was leading me into this job, and I had faith in that I was going to get this job. But at the end of it all, I didn't get that job, and it was a big disappointment, so much that I was asking myself, what is trust? What is faith? Do I really want to believe in God when He's making me get so disappointed? And I remember that Sabbath, because I got the news, it was a Thursday. That Sabbath I was driving, coming to church, and I was crying. I ended up even having to pull off the road because I couldn't see. I called my mom. She prayed with me. She said, just go to church. You might feel better when you come out. But it was difficult. It was so difficult. But anyway, because of that disappointment, I ended up having to go to the doctor. I needed a note from the doctor. So I got to the doctor to get that note. And while I was there at the doctor's office, the doctor says to me, you know what? You are due for your test here. We're going to do this test now. But at the time, I didn't have health insurance. It had lapsed. And I wasn't really planning to get that health insurance. It wasn't something that I was going to do in a few months. So I was like, okay, I have to pay from out of pocket. But because the doctor had said, yes, I'm going to sign for you, I said, okay, let me just do this test. I paid the money and then did that test. And the doctor says to me, he comes back to me after he gets the results. He says to me, you know what? I'm glad you are here today. We did this test today because I found something that could be cancerous. Oh my. Instead of being disappointed, to tell you the truth, I was not disappointed, but I realized that because of that disappointment of not getting that job, I got to discover that I had this, that was something that could be cancerous, and I really didn't know it was going on in my body. And the other thing was, I wasn't going to go to the doctor in anytime soon, because since I didn't have insurance, I wasn't planning. But I realized that this is God, because I had that disappointment. Now I have to go to the doctor, and then I found out about this, and the doctor says to me, we can take care of it from here. It's good that we know about it now sooner. And from my own research, I tried to research about what the kind of cancer that he was talking about, and it was kind of the cancer that you would get, and most of the times it doesn't have any symptoms. They discover it when it's a stage 4, when it's even too late to do any treatment. So I was, instead of being sad, I was so thankful and grateful. And I remembered that verse that says, in all things give thanks. And I just said, Lord, your ways are so wonderful. If it wasn't for this disappointment, I wouldn't know this is going on. But anyway, I'm sharing that with Amy, just like as I'm sharing with you. She says to me, after I finish sharing, she says to me, you know what? It's not a coincidence that we are sharing together, because I had cancer myself. I couldn't believe my ears. And then she says to me, anyway, I have something that can help you, because I had cancer myself, and I had a stage 4. They had told me they're just going to make me comfortable. There was nothing much they could do, and I was supposed to do this chemo. But I decided, since my husband is Adventist, he said, well, let's try some herbals. And they did try those herbals, and she went for her, she decided to, told the doctor, I'm not going to do this treatment. I'm going to take at least 1 month to decide whether I want to do this chemo or not. The doctor was not happy about that, but anyway, she had decided to do that. So she went home and started taking that medication, and the name of the medication is called Graviola. She started taking that Graviola in heavy doses for 1 month, and then she went back to the doctor and said, okay, I'm ready for whatever treatment you want to do. So the doctor said, okay, let's just make a quick check to see where you are now. And they did whatever they were supposed to do, and they come back to her. The doctor says to her, what have you been doing? And then she told the doctor, I've been taking this Graviola, it's a herbal medication. And the doctor said, it's working. It's working. You had a stage 4 cancer. Now your cancer is a stage 1. And the doctor said, I am not going to do anything with you. I just want you to go back home, do exactly what you are doing, take it, that medication the same way you are doing, and come back in 2 months, and we can see how your progress has been. So she goes back home. She does the same thing for 2 months. After those 2 months, she goes back to the doctor. The doctor says there is no trace of cancer at all. I was amazed. And I remembered that I had prayed and said, Lord, surprise me in these 10 days. And there was my surprise. That Sabbath, I just went to church not knowing this was going to happen. So she says to me, I have a bottle for you. If you want to try this medication, I have a bottle for you. You can come and start that medication as soon as possible. And at that time, I had already got my insurance, but it was going to take a month for it to get into effect. So I got home. She was going to give me the next Sabbath. I called her. I said, I can't wait for that next Sabbath. Let me just come to your place if you don't mind. So she gave me her address. And guess what? I realized she stays 10 minutes away from my house. I get there. She gives me the medication, and she's telling me you're supposed to take it this way, that way. And then she says to me at the end of it all, she says to me, you know what? You remember I told you that I'm not a member of the church yet. I said, yeah. She says, yeah, you know why? Because I have been coming to Richardson Church for the past years, and I've never felt like I fit in. I've never had an experience maybe with other families. So when I got home yesterday, I say to my husband, you know what? I think I can be an Adventist after all. Because I met this wonderful young lady, and we just connected. I think I can be an Adventist. And you know what, Stho? She gave me the biggest hug. She says, I am so glad, I am so happy I found a friend at church. And it was amazing. To me, it was just like, Lord, you just work in wonderful ways. because when we were sharing, I didn't even realize that it was making so much of an impact to her. And I'm just grateful. So anyway, I ended up doing the biopsy. After taking this medication, this graviola, for 1.5 months, I went to the doctor, my insurance kicked in, and then I did the biopsy, and the biopsy came in 2 weeks ago. And the doctor said, there is nothing, there is no cancer. And I just want to praise God for his miraculous work. And we had such a good connection with Amy. We have started Bible studies, and it's just amazing what God can do. Praise God.
Amen. Amen.